I don't like to give myself any excuses for not doing something that's going to get me to the goal. When I stop and I want to make a decision that is not in my best interest, I always ask myself, I have this awareness, is this going to help my long-term goal to live a long, healthy life and be there for my grandchildren? Is doing this going to help me get to my long-term goal?
Hey fam, my name is Maxime. I'm an entrepreneur, fitness mentor, philanthropist, and founder of the 7-Figure Body, Fit Vegan Coaching, and Empire Builders. I'm an Ironman 70.3 competitor and hybrid athlete who loves to use fitness as a means to help others live their life to their fullest potential. This show is here to help you unleash your true self and level up your life in all areas that matters. Enough talking, let's get into the show. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Maxime podcast. Today, I'm joined by one of our fit vegan superstars, Harvey. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks, Maxime. Good to see you.
Same here. I said morning, but it's nighttime for both of us.
Sure is.
Yeah. So, Harvey, you've lost about 20 pounds since we started working together one-on-one. So basically on this episode, I want to dive into what that journey's been like, the ups and downs, how you handle the challenges of life, the travel, and all these things. And so let's just get started with who you are and kind of what you do, just so people have an understanding that this is not all you did for the past 4 months. Like you actually had a job, you have a family, that you had other things going on.
Yes. So I work full time. I have a couple gray hairs, and getting to the end of my career. I'm planning my retirement, and I really enjoy work. It's busy, a little bit stressful, and I do a little bit of travel. I used to be a road warrior, but it's much easier. The less travel you do, it's much easier to focus on the Fit Vegan program when you have control of meal prep and what you eat. I've done a little bit of travel, and it takes a little bit more work to maintain the discipline that I have been doing.
Yeah. So you were in the position that I'm in now, in a hotel room, living off protein bars and protein smoothies.
Yeah. And I have 2 grown children, 4 grandchildren, and that keeps me busy in a lot of different interests and hobbies. And always, I've been focused for several years, many years, on just being fit and healthy. And I have interest in longevity. I've been doing a lot of research in that because seeing family members as they get older, the last 10 years of their life isn't very fun. So my goal is to be healthy longer so I can enjoy my later years.
Yeah. So where were you before you started working with me? Like, what was the catalyst that made it like, I want to hire this guy, I want to improve my body composition?
Yeah, so that's interesting. Everything was going great. I'm a avid runner. I was doing triathlons and Ironman, half Ironman, and I've done a full Ironman. I did that for about 10 years. Stopped after my full Ironman to take a break, and then also COVID hit. When
Yeah.
COVID hit, a lot of folks went out, and just to get out, they did more running and more physical activity. Actually, I didn't realize that although I never got COVID, just the mental aspect of COVID kind of made my wife and I a little bit of a shut-in, and we stopped moving as much and stopped running, and then instead of eating pretty healthy, we started having tea every afternoon with a croissant, a little bit of pastry, and then
Still
that
good.
turned into eating a little more cheese, a little more eggs. And as soon as I knew it, over that period of a year or so during COVID, I turned around and I gained close 15, 20 pounds and
Yeah.
didn't realize it. and didn't feel great. And when I would race, my time slowed down, and just wasn't feeling as good as I felt before COVID.
Yeah.
So
Um,
I listened to a lot of podcasts during COVID, and I just came across a vegan podcast, and there you were as a guest. And I said, I've had it. I'm done. I'm ready to get back to where I was or even better. And then you piqued my interest, and I'm pretty skeptical. So I checked out thoroughly and really wanted to see if you were for real.
mhm.
And I took a little bit of a risk, not knowing anyone that was in the program, and
Yeah.
said, what's the worst that can happen to me? And took a flyer, and here I am. And I am so happy that I started the program with you.
Yeah, well, I'm happy we got to work together. And you went all in when we first met because you worked with me directly, which I'm not the cheapest option. So you just like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this right.
Well, if I'm going to do it, I might as well do it with the top guy. You're going to spend all that money, just spend a little bit more and get the return. And I certainly did.
Yeah.
I've been thrilled with the results. And you know what? The weight's one thing, but it's the body composition. It's a combination of being healthy, looking better, and being stronger. And I am competitive. My wife runs, and we're a little bit competitive within the family, and it's a lot more fun when you do races to finish at the top of your age group than the middle or the bottom of your age group. And I compete against myself.
Yeah.
So I have a couple goals, and one of my goals is it's pretty tall order. I like to beat my personal best when I was younger in all the different running distances. And
Yeah.
then
Just
as you get older, to qualify for Boston, the times get a little bit slower. So I've never been able to qualify for Boston. I like to do that.
yeah. Well, just put in perspective for people listening. How old are you now, Harvey?
I am 66.
All right. Just people listening, because a lot of people, again, I think my grandfather was like maybe 62 when he passed away, and he looked way older than he did. Like you don't even look near 66. And the fact that you're still running and you're still super active and competitive, how has your running been affected by this shift in body composition, by the additional strength training, by ultimately the change in nutrition as well, right? Because you weren't fully plant-based before.
That's correct. So, it's hard. I changed a bunch of variables, so it's hard to really pinpoint it. I think it's a combination of nutrition, strength training, plus improving my sleep. As you know, Maxime, we
Been
worked
working
pretty
hard.
hard to get more sleep and to get my schedule more consistent. And to get my recovery where I feel good when I wake up in the morning and I can perform. So I would say it's those three things, and it just feeds to more positive mental attitude. And like during COVID, I just didn't want to run because I knew I was slow, and it was depressing when I would get out, and it was a struggle. And now that I'm getting faster, I really look forward to getting out there and especially preparing for races and see how much I improve on my racing. And
Yeah.
even I did a 10K this past weekend, and I did a 10K a couple months ago. And my 10K that was much more difficult and hilly this past weekend was faster than the flat 10K I did a couple months ago.
Nice. How much faster?
It was about 35 seconds per mile faster.
Oh, nice.
But it was a lot, and it was a lot more difficult. It was silly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know the hills definitely slow you down.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. So, what was the prompt for you to change your nutrition, right? Because you mentioned during COVID, you're eating croissant, cheese, and eggs, and then we transitioned to like you kind of hear my podcast. Like, so what was the igniter for you to be like, let me just give this plant-based thing a try?
Yeah, I was, throughout the past 30 years, I've done different aspects of being vegan, pescatarian, and I know that when I was more, what I'll say, hardcore vegan, when I say hardcore, I mean plants, vegetables, tofu, tempeh, and not junk food vegan. You can have Oreos
Yeah.
that are vegan, and I got for convenience, and when you travel, I ate more Impossible burgers and processed vegan food,
Yeah.
and now I was traveling and I grabbed an Impossible burger, and I really didn't feel very good after I ate it. So, and I grew up in a household where the vegetables didn't taste very good. And I'm a vegan, but I never really liked vegetables
Yeah.
because my mom didn't know how to cook them. They were either overcooked and mushy, and didn't taste like anything. So
Yeah.
my natural palate is to stay away from vegetables and go towards starches and bread, and that is a bad habit. But I learned how to make vegetables delicious.
Yeah. And there's a
So it's
significant
easier.
decrease,
Yeah.
right, in your waist size and the bloating that you had from the start to now.
Yeah, my weakness is bread. I love bread, so I can just sit and eat a loaf of bread and toast with butter. I was putting butter on it.
Yeah.
And, I'll have some sourdough bread, but in moderation, not very much. And
Yeah.
I don't miss it. I don't have the cravings that I used to have. And what's strange is the more sweet foods and the more starch and the more bread, the more I ate, the more I craved it. And then the more vegetables I eat, I enjoy eating the vegetables, and I don't have the cravings that I used to have. And I don't miss it.
Yeah. So talking about nutrition, I like to talk about sustainability. So I consider you to be a high achiever, a high performer in your career. You have a family, you have a lot of other things going on. So how sustainable was the strength training that you did? How sustainable was the nutritional method that you used to lose the 20 pounds? Is it something that you'll like completely scrap off once you're kind of done the program because it was so unsustainable, or are you going to keep elements of it?
Um, I, I, so when it comes to the strength training, I never enjoyed strength training. I was never. It was hard to see any benefits to strength training because I'm very thin and skinny. In fact, I learned the term from you, skinny fat,
Yeah.
and I was skinny fat. I'm very narrow and very small in my chest and my upper body, and really thin. But I had a belly, I had a big belly, so it was more front to back. I was thick, but
Yeah.
width-wise, I'm very narrow. So I never enjoyed strength training because it's very hard. I didn't see results,
Yeah.
and I found it to be very boring. What has motivated me is I love the workouts you provide because I do strength Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and it's only 45 minutes, and the routines are great because each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is different. So I don't do the same workout each week, the same one more than once. And then I look forward to doing the same one again the following Monday. And then after 4 weeks, it changes up completely.
Yeah. It gets harder.
So because of the variety, keeps it interesting. It's not boring, and so I actually enjoy strength training. I actually enjoy it now, and I never enjoyed it and because I'm not seeing huge gains in muscle, but with the loss of body fat, I am seeing tone that I haven't seen in a number of years. The last time
Yeah.
I looked like this is when I was training for a full Ironman, and here I am. I'm not killing myself,
Yeah.
running, riding, and swimming for hours and hours, and spending Saturday and Sunday 8 hours a day training, and able to do it efficiently and still have a body that's getting close to what my body was when I was doing an Ironman.
Yeah, I know we talked about this multiple times. It's like you train whatever between 10 and 20 hours a week, let's say, for an Ironman. You achieve a certain level of leanness, and it kind of becomes your mental standard a little bit of like, I would like to look like this, but not have to do all of these things. So I'm happy we got you
Yes.
back there on a lot less hours of training.
Yeah, the other thing I learned, which you taught me, was I don't have to run 4 or 5 times a week and run 50 miles a week to keep my body composition, my fitness. In fact, you were on me about overtraining.
Yeah,
So I was able to save some time. I appreciate the running more because I'm not running every day. It
yeah.
saves me time and I'm not overtrained, and I didn't realize I was overtrained.
Yeah, and let's talk about sleep a little bit because that kind of ties into those analysis that we were doing. So, for people listening, when you work with me, you get a free Whoop tracker, and we do an analysis every single week on your check-in. And so, for you, Harvey, at a certain point, like you were overstrained pretty much every day. You're capped at the 21 that the max that the Whoop had, and then the recovery was terrible. And then when you start doing less runs, then your recovery started to improve. You start to sleep through the night properly. So do you want to talk about your experience of like how your sleep has shifted over the past 4 months?
Yes, what I was doing is I would, one item is the consistency. I would just go to sleep when I was tired. So if I had a
Mm.
tough day, I go to bed really early, and then I would wake up in the middle of the night, have trouble falling asleep because I went to bed too early.
Yeah.
And then other days when I didn't run and I wasn't tired, I would stay up late. So I didn't have bedtime consistency. And once I started going to sleep at the same time, that helped quite a bit. And getting older, I think all of us guys end up going to the bathroom, wake up going to the
A few
bathroom
times.
once or twice during the night. And I'm actually getting to the point where I'm actually sleeping through the night. Not every night, but maybe half the nights I sleep straight through without having to get up and go to the bathroom. And then what happened is my sleep really got wrecked when I went to Spain and came back. And then the jet lag killed me, and I was waking up in the middle of the night. And I just couldn't go back to sleep.
Hmm.
So I went to school between what you provided and listening to Andrew Huberman's podcast on sleep. I really went crazy and implemented a whole sleep routine of blocking out blue light at night, getting sunshine in the morning, consistent sleep, not eating too late. There's a lot of protocols to be implemented to improve sleep. And again, I changed so many variables at one time. I just wanted to fix it. I didn't want to do it one at a time. And
Yeah,
everything
you
I
need
put
to
in
figure out which
place.
one worked. You
And
just
it's not,
wanted it to work.
yeah, it's not perfect. I would say, it's 80-90% better. But
Yeah,
once in a while, there's nights I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll start thinking about something. But
yeah,
then I have an awareness that I'm not going to fall back asleep, and I'll just get up and do some things quietly, and then eventually I'll get tired and go back to sleep.
yeah. It's never about perfection. It's about consistency, especially when it comes to sleep. There's no way to be perfect all the time unless you're like Brian Johnson, right? Which is the guy that's trying to reverse his aging. Like his whole life
Yeah,
is centered around that. So unless that's you, you probably won't have perfect sleep every night.
right, right.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, I wake up, I feel rested, I can function. During COVID, I remember eating lunch. I just wanted to take a nap. I just had
Yeah.
to take a nap after lunch. I was so tired. So between the nutrition, the big lunches, and all the bread I was eating, plus the sleeping all over the place, I have energy from the time I wake up till the time I go to sleep, and I have a routine now where
Yeah.
an hour and a half before bedtime, I set an alarm and I start to wind down. No screen time, no TV, and just start to relax. It puts my body in the place where I can fall asleep. As soon as I hit the bed, I'm sleeping within a couple of minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. So it seems like there's a lot of areas of improvement, right? So obviously your body composition shifted, you got stronger, you were able to decrease your body fat. Nutrition, I think the quality of the food that you're consuming shifted a lot as well. I think you gained a lot of knowledge in that front. Your sleep improved. I'm curious about the psychological side of things because you're already a pretty disciplined person in your career, in your life, and in the sports and in the train that you were doing. So has anything shifted or have you learned anything that you're going to bring forward with you?
Yeah, mental clarity. I can focus more. I'm more, to use a cliche, more in the moment.
Hmm.
I'm more focused and I have more clarity on what I'm doing, and I don't worry about what's going to happen and or what happened and second guess myself a lot less than what I was doing. I'm pretty tough on myself and a lot of self talk,
Yeah.
and my voice inside my head is quieted down quite a bit.
Yeah. So you said there's an enhanced
That's
confidence.
another benefit. Between the nutrition and sleep, I really don't know what contributed to it because I was looking to change things, and I'm not interested in a science project. I'm interested in the results,
Yeah.
and changing everything has probably contributed uh, to that also. One thing I wanted to mention that's a nice benefit is my waist dropped 2 inches. Not that I was a 54 waist to begin with, but
Yeah.
my waist dropped 2 inches, and the clothes that I was having trouble buttoning my pants
Yeah.
are really loose now.
Oh,
So
good. Time to go
all my
shopping.
clothes that were all my clothes that were really tight fit me well, and the clothes
Yeah.
that were loose are ridiculously large now on me.
Yeah. I'm so used to doing success stories with women, and I'm like, go shopping. You have to buy new clothes. You're probably just gonna wear the same shit, but with a belt to hold the
Exactly.
pants. Yeah, yeah,
I just pull the belt a little bit uh, tighter, a couple more notches.
yeah, yeah. That shows the difference between men and women when it comes to losing weight. It's like I'll just put a belt. I'll just add an extra hole to it. Yeah. So besides like you mentioned a lot of things that you benefited from. Is there anything that you didn't expect to get out of out of this journey?
I didn't expect the results so quick, um, because you gave me a heads up, and you said everybody's different,
Yeah.
and I need to be patient, and it's going to be a while till I see results. But if you look at, and I'm a data guy, so if we look at the graphs and the charts of the body composition and the weight, the it's been a very steady decline, and I've lost 1 to 2 pounds a week. So in 10 weeks, I lost the weight. The other surprise, so because I'm skeptical and not very trusting, I was surprised that it really worked, even that I got results as quickly as I got. And then the other benefit is I've had high blood pressure for years. I'm on a very low dose of blood pressure medicine, and my blood pressure's dropped 10 points.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
And yeah,
yeah, it's those are all great changes. And again, I love that you say that you're skeptical because I feel like some people say that they aren't, but they are. And at the end of the day, like I get it. I'm this online guy that you've never met before, that you watched a few videos or listened to a few podcasts, and you're like, let me give this guy thousands of dollars to make me look a certain way. Don't know if it's gonna work. And I feel like that's everyone's kind of fear a little bit at the beginning. But that's why I do these episodes, because it can be like, hey, it does work for people that were skeptical as well, for people that were in your position before.
yeah. I remember at the beginning you told me trust the process. Just do what I tell you to do, and the results will be there.
Yeah.
And I remember you said that, and then I was skeptical of that, and now the motto that I put on my road ID is trust the process. So, um, the process works. I'm proof that it works. I can't speak for other people. I can only speak for myself. But you also have to be committed.
Yeah.
Uh, it's a commitment. You got to follow the process. If you don't follow the process, you're not going to get the results.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
speaking of process, I set things up for success. Like, and my wife benefited. She didn't pay anything, and she lost 10 pounds, and
Yeah. That's
she
pretty much our
got
average for
all the
partners.
benefits that I got. Yeah, because I do the cooking in the house, so and she wasn't going to cook her own food, so she benefited just like I did. The only
Yeah.
downside is she got faster too, so the competition's tougher for me.
Yeah. You just sneak in some oil in her meals. You're like, hey, you need.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so we both got. I got a twofer. She got benefits, and I did also.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's pretty much our average for partners, around like 10-ish pounds that the partner loses just by default, being around different quality of food. Sometimes they jump in for some workouts. Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes me happy to hear that, because it makes it so much easier if your partner's on board versus they're trying to eat something completely
Yes.
different than you are.
Yeah. So another thing that I learned from you is set up different processes to make things easy so you don't get off track.
Hmm.
So, a simple one is we have no junk food. We have no cookies or cakes, and we have very little bread in the house. So if, I had a craving and I'm home, I don't have anything to go to that would get me off track. And
Yeah.
then, like I set up, I'm ready to go. I have my workout clothes in the morning. And one of the things that I fell off the wagon with is I would get up real. I'm an early riser. I get up early and I would start doing some work and go do some things on the computer. And then I would just stay on the computer. I wouldn't take a break to go work out before I started work. So
Yeah.
now in the morning, I will not turn on the computer until I have my workout done. So I set things up to kind of structure it so it makes it easy to be successful.
Yeah, I think that's a big one. If you're an entrepreneur, a performance-driven person, and you're just like that email opens those that phone, the email, the computer opens up. Next thing you know, 4 hours went by, and you're like, shit, I got 30 minutes to do a workout and start actually working because I had
Yeah.
to work before I worked. It makes it very challenging. I
And,
do the same
and,
thing now.
and
Workout first.
yeah, the days I've done that, what I'll do is, okay, I have a break around 11 o'clock. So I'll reserve that time in my calendar, and then I won't work out when I get up, but I'll do it at 11 o'clock.
Doesn't
It
happen.
never happens. Never
For
happens.
sure. Something else shows up. You get busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. So I'm curious, like, what were some of the tools along the journey that allowed you to trust the process, overcome obstacles that came up, and kind of made the process doable for you?
Yeah, I think I was some of it's just luck in that I do have flexibility at work, and I don't have to travel as much as I used to.
Yeah.
So I think for someone that travels, I think it's a lot more difficult. Uh,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there's things you can do. You know, the times I did travel, there's vegan restaurants, and I was thinking of a business trip. I was thinking of ordering meals from one of the meal services and have it shipped to the hotel where I'm staying. So,
Yeah.
and you do have to go out, but nowadays it's a great time in history to be vegan because you can, unless you're down south, wherever you go, you can always have a salad and you can always get some kind of vegan food in restaurants
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's a lot easier now than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
And find vegan restaurants in different cities. One of the things I enjoy is whenever I go to a city, I'll check out all the vegan restaurants.
Yeah, like two things when you're traveling. Yes, the meal prep delivery service, like Whole Harvest, get food shipped to your Airbnb or to your hotel, and then Happy Cow. You ever heard of Happy Cow before? The app?
Yes, yeah, I use it all the time when I travel. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
great.
a
Yeah,
great
that's my
website.
go-to.
And what we've done is we do Airbnbs. I'll pick an Airbnb that has a full kitchen, that has like a gourmet kitchen,
Yeah,
and then we'll find a Whole Foods or a good supermarket when we go on vacation, and we'll pick up some stuff, and I don't mind cooking. We'll go out a few times, but we'll
yeah,
just cook, and that just makes it easy.
yeah. I don't know if you always like cooking, but when I went vegan, I gained a greater appreciation for nice kitchens. So yeah, same thing. When I'm on Airbnb, I'm
Yeah,
looking at kitchens. I'm like, which one has a nice kitchen? That's the one I want.
that's what I do. Yeah, same
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
I look for the gourmet kitchen description,
yeah,
or cook's kitchen or chef's kitchen.
yeah. So would love to ask you, any pieces of advice for people that are currently on the journey, members that are in the program with us that are on their journey, or people that are on their own journey of losing weight. What are some tips that you would have for them?
I said this before, but figure out, just have faith and trust the process and be patient. That's the one thing, and if and it's not going to be perfect. If you go and you're out to dinner, a business dinner with friends, and everybody's eating dessert, if you take a couple spoonfuls of dessert, it's not going to change anything.
Yeah,
You said if you do 90%, you get excellent results. If you're at 80%, you'll get okay results, but
yeah,
you got to be at least 80%. So there is a little bit of leeway. You have to enjoy. Once in a while, you have to treat and enjoy some things and fit into social situations. So
yeah.
it
Of
hasn't,
course.
it really hasn't stopped me from my gains. And then set up processes that help you succeed, so it's automatic. So what you said resonated with me,
Yeah,
and I took a leap of faith, being a not very trusting person, but sometimes you gotta go with your gut and take a leap of faith and give it a shot.
yeah. Well, I'm happy you did because we're here. We're recording a Fit Vegan Success Story episode, so obviously it worked out great. Um, yeah, just like you said, it's repetitive. The truth is repetitive, right? And so if people really pay attention to all these success story episodes, very similar lessons, very similar reasons why they succeeded. If you listen to any of the other episodes where I share knowledge, I repeat the same thing every podcast. You can listen to me on Chuck Carroll, Rip Esselstyn. I repeat the same thing because that's the thing that works. I don't need to make anything up.
And I can, I'm a witness to that because I've heard a lot of those episodes.
Yeah, I just repeat the same thing. The basics work, right? And as a coach, my goal is not my purpose is not to kind of make shit up to make you feel entertained while you're going through the journeys. I want to give you the most efficient thing possible to get you there as fast as possible, as efficiently as possible. And the basics work. And so I'm here to help with the behavior aspect. I'm here to help with accountability, with guidance, when you have moments of doubts, when you go off track. But a squat's a squat, a bench press, a bench press, a deadlift's a deadlift, a run is a run. There's not more to it.
Yeah, and one thing we didn't talk about to wrap this up is the behavioral aspect of it are the calls that take place a couple times a week where I only joined a few live, but I do listen to the replays.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to hear other people in the program, what their experiences are, and you learn from them. So I figure if, you listen to a recording and you get one or two nuggets out of it that helps you, it's just the more you learn and from other people, the better off you are of getting where you need to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm getting the best of both worlds now because we decided what would be good for me is I start with you for 4 months, and I just switched over to Coach Sarah, and I get she has a different style than you, and I get a different perspective and get to work with a nutritionist that that's her expertise deeper in that area. So I'm really getting a lot of bang for my buck.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited for you because ultimately, by the time this podcast episode goes live, I will no longer be available for coaching on the Fit Vegan coaching side. I'm going to only be available on the 7-figure body coaching program. Should be a program to be a little bit more intense. And Coach Sarah is basically going to be running the show for Fit Vegan. I'll still be leading group calls and all that stuff and coaching who I'm coaching, but I won't be available for new members. So this is kind of like the last little bit. You want to work with me at 7-figure body? If not, you're going to be with Coach Sarah, which Coach Sarah is incredible. She's been with me almost since day one, almost 4 years ago. She's built Fit Vegan with me and is responsible for honestly the majority of the transformations with me.
That's great.
Awesome. Well, Harvey, I want to say massive thank you for taking the time to jump on a podcast with me and record late at night. I appreciate your wisdom, and I'm really happy that we got to work together and that we crossed paths and that you took that leap of faith. So I'm excited to see how you look like at the end of your reverse diet.
So am I.
Awesome.
Thanks, Maxime.
You're welcome. And so for everyone listening, if you enjoyed the podcast episode, be sure to like it if you're on YouTube, subscribe, leave a review below. If you want any information, all the links are down below, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.